Hi, I'm Keith Wilson, founder of Wilson Financial Advisors, and this is Millennial Money Matters, where I teach you stuff you didn't learn in school. Today we're going to be talking about repaying your student loans. So you probably vaguely remember signing a form every year at college at registration time, and now that you're graduated, it's kind of becoming a little painful. These forms were promissory notes, and they were detailing your student loan obligations. Your loans aren't going away, and you'll want to repay them as quickly as possible. So whether you have a small loan or a small fortune to pay back, it's helpful to brush up on some student loan basics. That's what we're going to do. This one's going to be a long one, so stick with me. All right, first remember you have a grace period. After you graduate, you've got a lot to think about. I mean, where are you going to live? Finding a job, finding an apartment. And fortunately, you don't have to add these student loans to this list of worries that you have. So thanks to the grace period, that's built into most student loans. You have 6 to 9 months before you need to start repaying those student loans back. So this kind of gives you a little breathing room, okay? So you have to understand your repayment options, because really, gone are the days where your only option was to pay this thing off with fixed equal payments over a 10-year term. Now, that's certainly one option. It's kind of the best because you get it paid off quickly. But because of the growing number of students who require student loans to finance their education this is an increasing amount of debt. The federal government offers several repayment options. Now, not all of lenders will go along with this, and you'll need to check that out. But let's look at some of these repayment options that are flexible. So here we go. Here are your options. First is the standard repayment plan. This is what we talked about earlier. This was the original repayment plan. The standard plan, you generally have a fixed amount and you pay each month for up to 10 years. Next, graduated repayment plan. With a graduated repayment plan, your payments start out low in the early years of the loan, but they increase in later years. The term is still 10 years though. This plan is really best suited for individuals with relatively low current incomes. I mean, like you just graduated from college, who they expect their incomes to increase in the future. However, you'll ultimately pay more for your loan than you would under the standard plan because more interest accumulates in the early years of the plan when your outstanding loan balance is higher. So think of this as, hey, you're starting out, you're going to have a lower income, but you expect higher income in the future, and it helps with your payments. Next, extended repayment plan. With an extended repayment plan, you extend the time you have to repay your loan, usually from 12 to 30 years, and that depends on the loan amount. Your fixed monthly payment is lower than it would be under the standard plan, but again, you'll ultimately pay more for your loan because of the interest that accumulates under the longer repayment plan. But note this, many lenders allow you to combine an extended plan with a graduated plan. All right, next, the income-based repayment plan. With an income-based repayment plan, or IBR, your monthly loan payment is based on your annual discretionary income. So discretionary income means how much do you have left over after you pay all your bills. The federal government offers a pay-as-you-earn plan. Generally, undergraduate borrowers will pay 10% of their discretionary income toward their student loans each month. And after 20 years of on-time payments, the remaining balance may be forgiven. Now, payments may be forgiven after 10 years for those in certain public interest jobs, and really after 25 years for graduate school borrowers. Now, for more information, visit the federal government student aid website at studentaid.ed.gov. I'll put a link in the description below. Next, we come to loan consolidation. Loan consolidation is technically not a repayment option, but it does overlap. With loan consolidation, you combine several student loans into one loan, sometimes at a lower interest rate. Thus, you can write just one check each month. With most loan consolidations, you can choose an extended repayment and or a graduated payment plan in addition to a standard repayment plan. To pick the best repayment option, you really need to determine your discretionary income. Discretionary income is, think about it when you're paying all your bills, what's coming in minus what goes out. Is there anything left over? That's called discretionary income. And you want to put that towards your student loan each month. This in turn requires you to make a monthly budget. We'll get into that later, but you need to track your income. You got to track your expenses. So in addition to these repayment options, ask your lender if they offer discounts if they directly debit your checking account each month automatically. Actually, your interest rate may be lower. That's one option. The other is ask them if you show a history of making payments on time. Sometimes they'll let you skip a month or two. So this will help. All right, let's say you're at the end of your rope and you really can't pay this in any way, shape, or form. The last thing you want to do is ignore this. You gotta keep communication with your lender at all times. So 3 things you should ask your lender: deferment, forbearance, and cancellation. Let's talk about that. All right, so the first one is deferment. With a deferment, your lender grants you a temporary reprieve from repaying your student loan based on a specific condition. This could be like unemployment, temporary disability, military service, or maybe you're going back to graduate school. For federal loans, the federal government pays that interest that accrues during the deferment period, so your loan balance won't increase. A deferment usually lasts 6 months, and you're limited in the total number of deferments you can take over the life of the loan. Next, forbearance. With a forbearance, your lender grants you permission to reduce or stop your loan payments for a certain period of time at its discretion. Now, one common cause is economic hardship. However, interest continues to accrue even on federal loans. Now, like a deferment, forbearance usually only lasts 6 months. The total number of allowed over the life of the loan is limited, so keep that in mind. Last is cancellation. With a cancellation, your loan is permanently wiped off your list of financial obligations. It's not easy to qualify for this. Situations when this may allowed are the death or permanent total disability of the borrower, that's you. Typically, student loans can't be discharged in bankruptcy. Keep that in mind. But you got to remember, these things are never automatic. You'll need to fill out the appropriate paperwork, the application from your lender, any supporting documentation, follow up to make sure that your application is being processed correctly. So really you got to keep track of your paperwork. Now, if your idea of organization is stuffing everything in a sock drawer, you got to think again. Let's get serious about these. Student loans are a serious matter, so keep a file on all correspondence, any phone calls you make, promissory notes, coupon booklets, forbearance paperwork. All these notes have to be filed so you have a record of what you talked about. All right, so lastly, investigate your student loan deduction. Currently in 2019, you can deduct some or all of your student loan interest that you're paying. And you should check out the IRS publication 970. I'll give a link below where you can check that out. But man, I hope this helps you out. Told you it was going to be a long one. Notice my drawstrings are a little uneven. That kind of bothers me a little bit. Caleb, I hope you're watching.